Hey friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today is a big day because we are going to be planting the house side of the privacy berm with all these gorgeous annuals. It is the one sunny day of the week. So we are taking advantage and we are getting these sweet babies in the ground. We're a little bit behind because this time last year the berm was already planted, but you know, such is life and we're getting to it when we can. So that is what we are going to do this morning. It's gonna be a little bit warmer today. We're just trying to get these in between the rainy days. Yesterday we got a ton of rain and then tomorrow it rains again, which is actually perfect because these plants will just absolutely thrive in the privacy berm. So, of course, we have this nice large berm between that separates kind of the personal yard, our house, from the public retail side of the garden center. We want people to come on that public side that is filled with gorgeous perennials. In fact, Mimi's over there helping me right now doing a little bit of weeding so that it looks top notch for you. So please come through on the nursery side of the berm, look at it, take pictures, the plants are labeled, get some inspiration. As far as the house side, you can look over the fence. We just ask that you don't come around because this is a nice divider for our family privacy between us and the nursery. Last year, we put hundreds of petunias in the berm. This year we're completely switching it up and we are going to do a lovely mixed planting, and not one petunia is going to go in there. Why are we doing that? Well, Jenny's a little ADD, so from year to year, I like to do different things, right? I like to have different looks. Also, petunias, sometimes they can be a little more fussy, right? You've got to do a lot more fertilizing with them. Sometimes they need to be trimmed back and cut back, just things like that. So this year, we're going to take a little switch and we're just going to do a gorgeous mixed planting. We do have the 3 sections of the privacy berm outlined in the boxwoods. The center section is going to be planted in one way, and then the 2 sides flanking that, they will be planted similarly. So we will have 2 similar beds and then 1 fun bed all by itself. We're going to use, let's start in the center, right? So in that center bed, we have 3 holy grails in the back, the summerific holy grails. That beautiful perennial hibiscus, really nice, dark, near black foliage with massive dinner plate, deep red flowers on it. So to highlight that, we are going to use a bright yellow lantana. This is lemon tart. I've been doing citron at the house, which is a nice softer yellow. Lemon tart, I say, is like a big bird yellow, right? It is a very nice, bright yellow that has just, I mean, I think you can see right there, right? I mean, it absolutely glows and is gorgeous. The pretty green foliage against the dark foliage of the Holy Grail, and then the red with that yellow really pops. For me, I love using yellow in my garden because we do have such big, expansive gardens, right? We sit on 8.5 acres. I can't do anything really, quote, small around here except for places that you get really up close with. And when people are looking at the plants from a distance, whether they're driving by or they just see it from a long distance, when you have a bright color in mass, it really stands out and it really makes a big impact. Now, lantana does great for us here. In fact, you know, a little wink, nudge to proven winners. I think you need to make a lantana a annual of the year. Lemon tart would be a great one. We got red zone. We're going to do red zone as well, because lantana is so easy. It's deer resistant, rabbit resistant. It has a bit more of a rougher texture to it, and so it is more resistant to that. Also, when you rub on it, it has a certain fragrance. I don't know how to describe it, but anytime you have rough texture and a fragrance to it, it tends to be more critter resistant. It loves the sun. It drinks the sun. It handles the heat and humidity like an absolute champion, and it attracts all your pollinators, your butterflies, your hummingbirds, your honeybees. All types of pollinators love lantana. Also, it will go all the way through for me until we have a hard freeze. Great drought tolerant, heat tolerant, deer resistant, rabbit resistant plant. It has all the check marks for me. Now, lemon tart specifically, because your lantanas can be different sizes, right? It is going to be 12 to 26 inches tall. Now, the 12, when you see that on the tag, because Proven Winners does have amazing tags, right? So when you have that on the tag, that first number typically means that when it is going to be in a container. The bigger number is going to be when it is in the landscape. So since we are putting this in the landscape, this will definitely reach that 26 inches. And then the spacing on it is going to be more, where did it go? Like 1 to 2 feet apart. I think what we're going to do is put these in mass groupings and not like total full coverage. I think that's the plan. We'll see if that's the plan. You know how it goes when Jenny starts to plant. So we're going to have that, and then here in the front, let me get you a good one. My new favorite plant from last year is spider webs are everywhere, y'all. Sorry about that. Artist Blue Ageratum. This is beautiful. When you have, of course, yellow and blue going together is a perfect combination. This is one of those plants that just keeps on going, just like your lantana. Last year we planted this in the backyard around the fountain, and it went all season long. I thought maybe it was going to be more like a cool weather crop. Nope, it handled it perfectly. Heat, humidity, full sun, you name it. So Artist Blue is going to be nice and short, about 12 inches, and it's going to be a nice mound. We're going to put this in front of that lantana, like closest down towards the grass, and do that in clumps as well. So we're going to have Holy Grail, Lemon Tart, and then the Artist Blue Ageratum. That will be in the center. To go with that, because you know how I like the beds to coordinate and not be matchy-matchy all the time, what we're going to do is I have got some beautiful, and y'all, yes, they are very tall. They're like little trees right now. We'll take care of that. I don't want you to be afraid of your sunflowers when they get tall. We're going to do the Suncredible Yellow Sunflower. Look at this. Is she just not the cutest little thing you ever did see? She is. That classic sunflower that is full sun, right? Your sunflowers love the full sun. Here we go for you sweet people who love your tags. In the landscape, she is going to get nice and big because we have a long growing season here in North Carolina, Zone 8A. She will go again all the way to a freeze, and really in the landscape, a 3x3 plant, and just absolutely covered in flowers. The more you pinch it, the more you cut it back, trim the flowers, use them for arrangements in your house, the bushier, the thicker, the stockier the plant gets. So we're going to use this in nice big groups. I'm going to plant them probably in like groups of 3 or 4 so that it's nice and big and bulked up and has a really big presence, and use those in a couple of groups on the side. So that will be in the back. Then in front of that, we're going to go with some dark foliage. This is going to be a little bit of a wink and a nudge to those Holy Grails, right? The Holy Grail has really dark foliage, so we're going to use a coleus. This is Newly Noir, and you can see, even here on the camera, you can see how dark it is. But this Color Blaze coleus, which is either sun or shade, is going to be a really fun pop of color contrast in front of those Suncredible Yellow Sunflowers. Of course, Color Blaze, sun or shade, will get nice and big. In the landscape, 2 to 3 feet, close to 4 feet tall, really thick, really wide. Again, we're going to do these in mass clumps together. So that's going to be the next layer. And then I'm making sure I have everything that I need. Yes. Then the final layer on that particular bed, let me show you how this transitions. More lantana. This is going to be the Luscious Royale Red Zone. And Red Zone is one of kind of the newer lantanas within the last couple of years that they put out. And it's really fun because it's going to have color variations within the plant. Depending on the age of the bloom, you're going to get some obviously reds, you're going to get some oranges, and you're going to get a little bit of yellows. Now, we have the red flowers from the Summerific Holy Grail. Then we're going to have a little bit of the red in with the lantana. The red zone is going to be 12 to 26 inches tall. about the same size as your lemon tart. So we're just repeating those colors, repeating the same plants, but in a different kind of fashion, the different cultivars, and just bringing in lots of color that will attract pollinators and just be really nice and low maintenance. So what we're gonna do now is we have the truck full of plants. Oh, I forgot one because it's all the way in the back. I knew that there was something else that I needed to show you and I couldn't remember what it was. Okay, well, it's in the back. I'll throw up a picture. Rockin' playing the blues, salvia. I knew there was something else. I'm like, this is not all that's in that bed. So we'll have the sunflowers, we'll have the rockin' playing the blues, salvia, the color blaze, newly noir, and then it's the lantana, because we got to bring in the blue, right? We got the blue from the artist blue ageratum. We're going to bring in the blue from the salvia. Yet another great pollinator attractor in the garden. And it will actually be a perennial for us in zone 8A. So now what we're gonna do is get all these plants unloaded and start placing them out. We're gonna bring Andrew down. He's gonna help us plant because the more hands, the merrier when we start planting. But what we're gonna do is probably get everything set up and then I'll meet you back here and kind of explain the design and then we'll plant. Friends, now I know you probably can't see my face, but you know, got to protect the face from the sun. Got my hat on. Jerry and I got it all laid out. So Andrew and Jerry, while we're going to do a little walk through and look at everything, Andrew and Jerry are going to go ahead and start drilling in these plants. So y'all, I love it. It is so different than last year, which I think is just really, really fun to do something completely different. Big, bold colors. It is going to make such a statement from a distance. Now, looking at this, I want to say that this bed, right, I see it as almost like three separate flower beds, but then they all work together as one giant bed, if that makes any kind of sense. So the outer two flower beds, I say they're sisters. They're not identical twins because they're not planted the exact same because they're not the exact same shape. This one up here closer to the driveway is bigger. The one closer to the creek is smaller. So they have the same plants, but their layout is different. What we have going on here is we have the Suncredible yellow sunflower back here in the back, and I did them in groups of 5 and 6. So there's 5 here and there's 6 here. Even this bed is a little bit bigger on this side, and then it kind of narrows down as you go down. So you will notice that I've planted them in groups. They will grow together and look like one massive plant. Now, I am fully aware that we have some trees going on here. We have got some sunflower trees. I will come back later, maybe tomorrow when it's a little cloudier and a little cooler, and go ahead and prune them back. But y'all, seriously, look how cheery and happy these Suncredible yellows are. So you're going to have 2 mass groups here on each side of the cherry tree. So you're going to have a group here, and then kind of the same thing with the salvias. We've got the playing the blues. They too are little trees. It's all right. We'll get them pruned. They will be fine. The pollinators, the honeybees have already been all over these guys. So again, we did them in big clumps. So here I have got 4 together, I've got 5 together, and then over there I've got 2, 5, 6 or 7 right here, because I wanted to have a really big group. Now I am leaving holes. You'll see that there will be little hole pockets through there. The reason I'm doing that is kind of twofold. Last year it was a mass planting where there was no soil showing between the petunias, and while it was stunning and it was gorgeous, it did make it incredibly hard to get in there, because inevitably you're going to have weeds, and we deal with Bermuda grass in here, especially around the base of this cherry tree. So I need to be able to get in here if I need to prune some stuff, or if I need to weed, I can easily do that. So that's why we're doing the mass groups. And then finally, well, the two final ones, we have the Color Blaze Coleus in groups of, there's 2 groups of 3. I just wanted a little pop of dark, right? So it'll really show off against the sunflowers and the salvias, and then of course the red zone. Red zone, we've got 3 groups here, mass planting. They will be a huge, big clump of that color. You've got reds, you've got oranges. As the flowers age, they will turn, like, look how red this one is, right? So you get a really, really bright red color on it. You got some pinks, and you've got like a little bit of pink and a little bit of like a yellow and orange. So it'll be kind of multicolored on here, which I think will be really fun. So that will, of course, will tie in quite nicely with the lemon tart down here, and then with the Summerific Holy Grails. There are 3 Holy Grails here. So 1, 2, 3. They got a little whopper jawed in the storm. So they were nice and pretty, but when that wind came through and whipping it, and you can even see like the plum tree back here, the purple plum, it's gotten a little heavy, so we might have to go in there and help it a little bit as well. But that dark coleus tying in to the Holy Grail, with that red flower with the red zone lantana, will be really pretty. Here, just again, mass planting of lemon tart. Did them in big groups. So when they're nice and happy and growing, you'll just have big, huge clumps of them coming through here. And of course, lemon tart is just, y'all, such a gorgeous, solid yellow. The sun's not being my friend here as I try to film, but just a bright cherry yellow. The plants are so happy. And then of course the Artist Blue Ageratum. So I kind of did it in thick, thin, and then thick up here in the corner right here, right? And so that blue of the Ageratum ties in to the blue of the salvia. So completely different plant, completely different growing habit, but the color is the same or very similar. So therefore it ties in the flower bed. And then where Andrew and Jerry are, they're starting, this is definitely the smallest of the 3 beds. It is the most narrow. As we come down towards the creek, the entire berm gets more narrow. And so we had to just redo something a little bit right here. So I tweaked the design completely, where we still have the 2 groups of the mass planting of the sunflowers. So we have a group on each side of the plum, and then where Andrew is right now, those are, we just did 1 mass planting of the salvia. So it will, from a distance, right, from the back here, I know it's a little hard to see because they're right there, but you have the cherry tree in the center, then sunflowers, the salvia dead center, and then we did a group of the coleus here, a coleus here, and then 2 big groups of the lantana, and then just a little group down here on the end. I did just the 2 groups of the lantana first, and then I started looking at it and I was like, okay, this corner looked awful empty right here. So we put 3 lantana, so it'll be a little small group right there. Everything else in the berm is just growing, and oh my gosh, it's absolutely stunning. So once we're all said and done, I am gonna run through and just kind of show you the highlights of the things, because it is coming along quite nicely. So what we're gonna do is just set the camera up. We're gonna get these babies in the ground, and yeah, then we'll be done. But there's 1 or 2 plants we gotta get in the ground here, folks. My friends, today's project is complete and it feels so good to get these annuals in the berm. Of course, in true Creekside fashion, we have to wait and do it on a sunny day, which with all the rain means that it is also a very humid day. I'm surprised that I am not an absolute puddle from glistening all day. I don't care, a cold shower will fix that. This looks great. Now, I know things are thin and small and they need to have a little prune, but in my mind's eye, I have done this enough with these plants that I know I can already envision what it is going to look like when they're all happy and healthy and thick and full. It is going to be stunning and I cannot wait. It is going to be so much fun to watch this fill in and develop. You saw me with the tractor. I came in and gave everybody a good drink of water. Yes, tomorrow is supposed to be cloudy and there's rain showers off and on again. Basically, we're supposed to get rain for the next 2 weeks. I mean, that's just the forecast. You look at the forecast and there's like rain showers multiple times during the next couple of weeks. And so that's just the pattern that we are in. I went ahead and watered this because there were certain ones, like the salvia was pretty dry. There were certain of the lantana that was dry, and it is still only 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And we do have beautiful Carolina blue skies and lots of sun. I don't want to put these plants under any more stress than they already are being moved and planted. So I wanted to get them nice and watered in so that they have a good head start. That way tonight, I don't know when the rain's supposed to start tomorrow, they have that water, they can get nice and rejuvenated and be happy and really acclimate quite well. I'm sitting here watching the pollinators on the salvia and the sunflowers, and they are just happy. I am going to come in here and I am going to go ahead and prune back the salvia, the coleus, and the sunflowers. The ageratums and the lantana are beautiful and nice and thick. They will be perfectly fine. However, especially, oh, bless them. Bless my little coleus trees and my sunflower trees and my salvia trees. They will thicken up really, really quickly. Like within the next 10 to 14 days, they will get thicker, they will put on lots of new growth, and they will be very happy. It doesn't matter if your salvias are, little trees like this. At any point in the season on your salvias, your coleus, your sunflowers, so many of our annuals, we can go ahead and give them a haircut if they look a little tall or leggy or lanky. Trim them a little bit. It rejuvenates the plant and it is perfectly fine. They will be great. I do want to show you just a little bit of an update on how the rest of the berm is doing. I told you I would. This, of course, is our pink Cascade 2 butterfly bush. You were with me when we pruned this a couple of months ago, and this whole section of the butterfly bush had died over the winter due to the cold winds coming through and hitting it right here. And I told you I wasn't worried because it would fill in. Well, guess what? It did. This baby is at least 3 feet wide and 3 to 4 feet tall already. She is putting on flower buds. Like, look at that. And once she starts, she is going to be spectacular. The October Magic Rubies, camellias, look how happy they are. Look at all that beautiful new growth. Of course, the October Magic Ruby Camellia is a sun-loving camellia. It is a deep, deep red. I have got 3 of them right in here with the, I'm pretty sure this is Hudson Bay or Hudson River. I can't remember which one. From our friends at Brushwood Nursery, they have got, just gorgeous, deep, deep purple, blue, whatever you want to call that, flowers on it. I had never thought to use a clematis as a ground cover, but the owner of Brushwood, he sent them to me and he was like, they make great ground covers. So I'm like, why not? Let's do it. So we have the blue of the clematis, the blue of the salvia, the blue of the ageratum, and then at the tippy top, we also have the Boom Chocolata. That's, yes, it's a little more purple, but you get the idea. So we have, colors in that family kind of going all the way down. Pufferfish, this is of course that fantastic panicle hydrangea. Pufferfish is doing really well, nice and thick and full, no buds yet. Of course your panicles are going to be later, so it could be, I'll have to look back on my pictures when it bloomed last year, but it could be like end of June, 1st of July. So that's perfectly normal. And of course the Oakland holly, the golden Oakland holly with her gorgeous bright chartreuse color. Cannot wait to see how this one grows up with the North Pole arborvitaes behind it. I'll probably, you know, last year this is where we had that massive planting of the Wicked Witch coleus. I'm not going to do that, but I might come in here, like put one here and one here, and maybe one on the other side of the pufferfish, the purple fountain grass. So because I have the purple fountain grass in the creek beds, which are doing quite nicely, by the way, since I have it here, I think it would be fun to add it on the other side, and it'll give some movement to that bed, which will be quite nicely. Everything here is just really growing and thickening up. We even have some buds on our daylilies. I believe this swath is the Blazing Glory, but we've got those. Now, we talked about this before, how the storm came through and laid down my summerifics. Y'all, it is what it is. I'm just going to kind of leave them alone. If you wanted to, you could come in here and prune them all back. I'm just going to leave them. It is what it is, y'all. I just can't. So I'm just going to leave them, and they'll be fine. They'll thicken up. They will actually, they're already starting to put new growth right here, and then that will come straight up. The Princess Bride Eucomis, this is going to be fun. I hope they bloom this year, like a pineapple lily. So there you go. Of course, the Artemisia is lovely. Oh, look at that smoke bush. Isn't she just a beaut? That is the Winecraft Gold smoke bush that just made me so happy with how it performed last year. Could not be happier. Remember, we pruned it, and look at that. So where we pruned, let's get in here. Let's see something. Okay, so like right here, I pruned it right here, and look at all that branching. Look at all that. So nice and thick. Wonderful. We've got echinacea with buds on it. This is, I believe, the Once in a Melon. So we have got tons of buds here on the echinacea. The Baptisia is blooming. Look, so sweet. This is a later bloomer. I have to find my tag on these. I'm not sure if this is like the periwinkle popsicle, but we've got 4 of them right here, later bloomers, and then there's one up here on the other side of the honeysuckle. Speaking of the honeysuckle, let's go check it out, and look at that. Look at that. This is the Sensation honeysuckle. Now, it did take a hit from the storm and all the rain. Y'all, in the past 10 days, I don't know, we've had like 14 inches of rain. It's just been insane. So that anything is standing up is just miraculous. But covered in buds, flowers, just doing quite nicely, as is the Niagara Falls grass. So they're coming along. Amsonia, String Theory, lovely. Now, I did lose some of my Queen Nectarine Agastaki right here. One did come back. I lost these 2 on the front. I have a beautiful delivery of plants from Walter's Gardens, so we will definitely fill that in. And y'all, look at this. This is insane. I might have to be moving some plants because I have got Little Lime Punch, and then I have got the Amazing Daisies. This is Daisy May right here, and they are just all on top of each other. So I'm thinking long term, this is not gonna work, but I will not move them. I don't know who's gonna get moved. Probably the Daisy Mays will get moved. I'll do that in the fall. I'm not gonna do that now. We're going into too much heat. It'll cause too much stress, so we'll just leave them alone. Like I told you earlier, the Purple Plum, she is having a hard time with the wind because she has all those big leaves on her. We'll have to come in here and I don't know if I'm gonna trim on it a little bit or try to help support it and bring it up. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. We'll figure something out. And then, yep, as we move on up, we've got Monarda blooming. Of course, that is the raspberry with all the bees on it, the chartreuse on the loose, the Nepeta. I've got honeybees everywhere. They are just loving it. Look, literally the plants are buzzing because you have got honeybees everywhere. Just everywhere. Such a beautiful, beautiful plant. Vino Verde. Now, this is the time of year to prune your Weigela. We kind of go back and forth on, sometimes I wonder if we're too hot for Weigela. This is Vino Verde, has a really fun coloration on the leaf. That's the main attraction to Vino Verde, is that fun color. It will bloom, and so it does kind of a reddish maroon color flower. Now's the time to prune it, to shape it. So as it's finishing blooming, I need to come in here, shape it up so it stays nice and tight and thick. And then y'all look, more of Echinacea. This is back to the fuchsia, I want to say, and just happy at the end of May as we go into the season. And then this is a daisy as well. I want to say this is marshmallow. There is a tag, there is a label under there, but it's just hidden. So I'm pretty sure this is either marshmallow or spun silk. So there you go on that. And yeah, I mean, everybody here is doing quite well. We have, of course, the Sunjoy Neo. We have 2 of those. I think I lost one. And then I did lose some of my Beyond Pink Caryopteris. I had 2 and only 1 came back. We are, unfortunately, I think, on the border of being too cold in the wintertime. And if I wanted to try the Caryopteris again, as far as in the berm, I need to take it and move it down like on the other end where it's protected. I think the cold winds coming this way, it zaps it. So 1 of the 3 came back for me, but you know, hey, we'll take it and we'll move on. But yeah, everything is looking nice. The thunderhead pine, look at all of this. It candled, so when a pine tree puts on new growth, it's called candling. Early in the spring, this was like a pure, like a creamy white, because it looks like candles. Well, that's all your new growth. So wherever you see those spikes, that is all new growth, and they're going to fill in with all the great thick pine needles underneath it. And yeah, this thunderhead is clearly very, very happy in this spot. It's kind of what I would call like a Dr. Seuss tree, because it has some fun, funky shape to it, and it's, you know, it's not really like an upright columnar tree. It just has kind of a whimsy to it that is so much fun. But yes, it is a hot, toasty day. Very, very glistening. I have my glistening beads are rolling down my back as I speak to you. So such is the warmer months here in North Carolina. It's lovely. But it has been a good day. I feel so accomplished having that planted, and it is going to be gorgeous. Of course, we'll keep you updated throughout the season with how it goes. And as always, we hope you have found this fun, informative, and inspirational. Y'all have an amazing day. See you in the next video. Bye, friends.